It's about to go down.
It's lovely pass, and there he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skilled by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullen is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo will win the Italian Grand Prix!
Gonzalo running the floor.
Still leading the way with Canada in there too with the Netherlands.
And Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix! Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bowden Barrett and an early touch and an excellent.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
The NFF has actually debunked a Super Eagles sex party scandal, and at this point, the NFF has actually made the deadline given to them by the Sports Ministry to submit raw, technical report. And also, we're going to be looking at 4 Nigeria election into the International Table Tennis Federation, talking about ITTF, and also volleyball is in the news. What actually went out in the championship yesterday, and what we should expect from the Europa League that will be coming up later today will be on the package. This is yet another edition of Sport Orbit right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Olawale Ayeni, and I'll be your host for today. As you can see in the studio, Alpha is standing by to talk sport.
Oh, nice to be here. Finally, the NFF has come to verify that all the stories about the sex party, all of that were just a rumor. But we'll see how that unfolds. Like you see, there's no smoke without fire.
Of course, the Nigerian Football Federation have actually debunked the Super Eagles sex party as scandal. It was actually reported in some media. There was a whole lot of media reports saying that about that some players of the Nigerian Super Eagles that they were involved in a sex party before the Super Eagles AFCON World Cup qualifier against Cape Verde that actually happened at the Teslim Balogun Stadium last Tuesday in Lagos. And according to the NFF Director of Communications, talking about Ademola Olajire, he said the NFF has no comments. They cannot write. They can write whatever they want to write because because it did not happen. Olajire actually told newsmen in that particular one. Also, he's saying that the story also alleged that it was planted to force Omura out of cycles. And again, he said Omura is not happy about the news accusing him of being involved. He feels it is coming from those who want him out of the Eagles by force. As actually say at this point in time. But do you think that this sex stuff that looking at the performance that we have to bring against people?
Like I said in my opening statement, there's no smoke without fire. Because I sincerely don't want to believe that, except we're saying some people just sat down somewhere and cooked some funny stories about some particular players. But I think it's something that needs to be properly investigated, even beyond the NFF. Of course, the NFF, I don't think will come out to say, yes, there was so and so thing happened before the match. Of course, if they actually agree that yes, it happened, of course, the Ministry of Sport will definitely come hard on them. That will mean that they're not doing their job very well. But for us to be hearing this kind of reports, we all know of the history of a lot of players, including the Super Eagles, things that happen in camp. We've all been there, so we know that these things are always possible. And the report specifically mentioned some names, but only after all the names mentioned, only one person is coming to really defend that. If they don't want to be the Super Eagles, I'm sure there are some other ways they can do. They could give excuse of your performances, have your performances been up to par. They could say you're not even playing in a top club. So it's no point for using this to say this is
efforts to
exactly you're not the only one
against-
involved. Why are the other people not saying that they also want to support us?
And if you want to look at it, is one of the most experienced player in the national team. Here, and Ahmed Musa, they're the one that actually still in the team after their triumph in
the 2013 AFCON. Yeah, exactly. So I think he singled himself out. Other names were mentioned too. Those people have not come to confirm or deny, but it's just Omero who has come out to strongly, defend himself.
The
Because
report actually alleged Kelechi Iheanacho was part of it. Chidozie Awoziem and Kenneth Omolo was the three players who were actually allegedly involved in the assess scandal party. But at this point, going forward, what should be done to ensure that we don't the Super Eagles player does not get engaged in this
like we said yesterday during this episode for yesterday, whenever you're in camp like that, there has to be a code of conduct. There has to be some certain rules and guidelines, of which usually it is that guides every camp. And the NFF should make sure, they have a coordinator who coordinates the camp. Whoever the coordinator is should ensure that all this code of conduct is strictly followed by these players. The rules and regulations are strictly adhered to by these players. And any player who is found wanting to break camp rules in any way or the other should be disciplined. Except we are saying that yes, this code of conduct exists, or is it that the players bribe their way to do some of these things? I know there's any possibility. This is Nigeria, happen, but I think it's something that the NFF should really look into because it won't be good for us to be hearing this kind of stories, especially just before a very important game, and we also the outcome of that game. So when you have when this kind of rumors come out and you play a match and the result is not really as expected as fans want, of course, different stories will come up and the blame at the end of the day we put that doorstep of situation.
Of course, I know the Super Eagles, team coordinator talking about Patrick is also a former international, so he knows that the game in and out, and he knows what the player should actually do at every given point in time. And he has been there for over 5 years at this point. So for the Super Eagles, they should just watch themselves very, very well. The news like this will not actually go down with Nigerians, so the fact that this is our own national team, and we expect them to always be at their best at every given time. AFCON is just a few months away now, and also looking at the World Cup qualifiers also a few months away. So we need the team to be focused for them to ensure that they get to qualify for the Qatar 2022 World Cup. Away from that, talking about the Nigerian Super Eagles, where the NFF has met the deadline for the submission of the draw scorecard during the World Cup qualifiers, which was supposed to be submitted to the Sport Ministry. So at this point, news coming in from the Sport Ministry is that the NFF have actually submitted coach technical report, and the Sport Ministry. What is the Sport Ministry going to do about it? To get rid of the technical team that will actually interpret this particular technical report to the minister, and from there maybe a certain decision that they actually taken.
Yeah, fine. At least the report has been submitted. Basically, it's a general scorecard on the performance of round since he's been in charge. So like they clearly said that once the ministry studies it, they are going to have a discussion with the NFF to see what needs to be changed, what needs to be tweaked to ensure that our football gets one. Yes, I haven't really heard of a technical committee of the Ministry of Sport, but I should believe that they should have one or two persons in the ministry who technically sound, of course, who will be there to advise the minister, in matters like this. Because I don't think the minister on his own will just go out there and study reports on his own. I'm sure there will be a certain committee who sit down and look at this. And of course, in another thing is, he could also solicit from help from outside. They may not make it public, but I'm sure there are some other technically sound guys, who might not be even working with the municipality, who they might call in to say, okay, guys, can you people sit down and look at this report and tell me what needs to be done? So I feel it's a good thing. At least they'll be able to make the deadline. So what we now await is for the ministry to study reports and meet with the NFF, and that's where we now know the outcome of of what their plans are as it concerns Kenafro. From there, we'll know if you'll be the one taking charge of the Eagles on the way to AFCON, or if someone else will cover and be in the saddle to take Nigerian football forward.
Of course, the sport ministry and the NFF are expected to meet on a particular day for them to actually decide what will actually be the next step to follow, so that to ensure that Nigeria, as talking about the Super Eagles, have a well-to-do performance where they get to play in the Nations Cup, and also the the World Cup qualifiers, which will be another crucial, two-legged game for the Super Eagles. All hands must be on deck to ensure qualification to Qatar 2022. Let's go for a short break. When we come back, also we're going to be talking about basketball, also tennis, and we'll look into the news coming in from Spain, where Benzema has been sentenced to 1 year imprisonment, but he will not actually go to prison. But let's go for this short break. When we come back, we'll absolutely tell you the rest of the story that I have for you.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Welcome from that short break. It's still sport on with right here on the Leadership of Podcast studio. We go straight to basketball at this point in time. When Nigeria avoid FIFA ban to hold the MBBF election come January 30th in next year. That's next year, talking about 2022 at this point in time. Is this coming at the right time? Where we are supposed to the MBBF election was supposed to be have been done at this point. Done and dusted, but due to the crisis among the stakeholders, and for me there is a lot of vested interest inside of the government and in some interested parties when it comes to who takes on the leadership of the Nigerian basketball federation.
I think it's good that FIBA has stepped in, but like they say, better late than never. But I would have been happier if they had stepped in a long time ago. But I'm sure they didn't want to really interfere. They wanted to see how we are going to resolve this crisis without their own interference. But the matter has happened. The Ministry of Sport has tried severally to intervene in the matter, but seems like the crisis hasn't been ending at all. So, of course, people had to come down and give us a deadline. Look, guys, if you don't do this by the end of this, then we need to ban you, because you can't keep running your federation like that without a board, without executive who are running, how the sport is being played.
But at this point, FIBA has actually sent a letter to the Nigerian Basketball Federation warning the sports ministry not to actually interfere. A few weeks ago, we saw the sports ministry getting to host a particular a Super 8 co-op, which was supposed to be done by the Nigerian Basketball Federation. And now don't you look at it that the sports ministry are interfering with the affairs of the basketball federation?
But like we said this severally, the level of interference of the sports ministry has clearly shown that, of course, they are taking sides. Even the ministry have completely lost ideas on how they actually want to resolve this crisis, because we knew when the sport ministry had in the past set up a committee for a reconciliation committee. We are yet to see the outcome of whatever happened. Have the committee been meeting? We are yet to hear it. We just heard of a committee being set up. Until there, as I was speaking with you, I haven't heard of any time the committee sat to deliberate on any matter. And people, of course, have to step in. And it's instructive to note that in the letter that was addressed was actually addressed to the killer letter. So that what does that tell you? That tells you that
There's still an open communication between the killer
exactly. So that's
faction
telling you that the
Fiba.
faction that people recognize is the Musa killer faction. So I think this is also a signal to the Ministry of Sport that look, this is the rightful leader of the federation so far. So good enough. They are asking the Ministry of Sport to stay off from interfering. But like I keep saying, you see, sometimes the international federation don't really understand how it works here in Nigeria. Because if you say do not interfere, why, when it comes to, for instance, funding, for instance, why don't they come out and say don't interfere, don't fund this? You see, so exactly. So you can't say okay in this matter you don't interfere, but if it's this way, you keep mute over it. But I think it's high time that these elections hold. And of course, FIBA have given us till 30th of January for the elections to hold. So I think it's now time for Ida and Omar faction to really sit down and decide on what they really want to do.
We're talking about the seats.
No, but I mean, there's not a deadline now. So we all know that if we don't hold elections by this time, we'll be banned. So by the time
At the end of the day, man, just get to see two different elections, different venues. The same thing we saw during the AFN election.
No, but
one was held in Cape Verde, one was held in Abuja.
yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, let an election be held. If election is being held, at least, and then I will know which of them was supervised by the. When an election is to be held, there are some certain bodies that have to be present in an election. Exactly. So whoever does not have the full complement of the necessary, agents that are supposed to be in the election, we know that your faction is are just jokers. So I really think that it's high time that an election is held, the president emerges. If people, in the federation want a killer return, then fine. If they don't want it, then so. But we can't continue running an election, a federation like that without elections, not knowing our left from right. So I think it's nice that FIBA has been able to at least slap a deadline and threaten to ban us if we don't stick to the deadline.
But similarly, similar scenario actually happened after the 2017 election. FIBA actually came out to say that there should be another election for both, both Tijani Umar and the Kida left faction, which was never held up to this present moment.
That's part of the country.
Exactly.
Because if that election was held again, somehow an authentic winner would have emerged. But going against FIBA's advice and directive, the election never held. And this is where we found ourselves today. So like you said, who knows, maybe election will come on that day again, they will have two different factions, or election might not even hold at all. But at the end of the day, if they get to balance, most of them, there will be no federation
for them to run.
To run. So, of course, it's nice for them to just take advantage of this window that people have provided.
Of course, away from basketball, we head straight to more cheering news at this point in time, where 4 Nigerians has been, elected into the board of the International Table Tennis Federation. The election was actually done in the US the late hours of yesterday. And at this point, we can confirm that the 4 Nigerians who actually started a bid to actually get a seat in the international body has finally been elected. We saw the likes of Barrister Etin Oshudu. He is now the Executive Vice President, Deputy President of the ITTF. We have Alison Bankole, Para-Table Tennis Commissioner member. Also having the President of the Nigerian Table Tennis Federation, that is talking about Ishak Utoko as a veteran, commission member, and also Banji Oladapo, Board of Director member in that particular one, and the sport minister and other, sports big wigs when it comes to the sports, sector in Nigeria has come out to congratulate this great for Nigerians who have been elected into the board of the International Table Tennis Federation. Alpha.
good one for Nigeria. I mean, we should be hearing this kind of news.
You know,
But that goes to show you that, at least to some extent, the NTTF is a bit more organized. Because if they were not organized, there's no way, their executive would have even been on the international body. When you won't check even on the continent, we're still doing well when it comes to running up. So it's a good one. This is what I expect from other federations. I mean, who says, for instance, if the NFF was well run, who says that we can't have people in favor also? But when a federation is, things are in harmony, these are the sort of thing. Because I mean, this is one federation must admit that over the years has been consistent, and we can even see what even our players have been doing internationally. We have a couple of players in the federation who play in good leagues in Europe and all of that. So good one for this for distinguished Nigerians for this honor.
When it comes to sport politics generally in the world, are we really there yet when it comes to are we playing the politics compared with the likes of the Western world when it comes to sport politics? Is Nigeria doing enough?
No, I think, of course, obviously we're not doing well, but not doing too badly, of course. Because if you look at even in the FIFA, for instance, of course, you can see, a pinnacle there, in CAF also. So we always have representations, but we are clearly not doing enough. But all this thing still boils down to.
Are we using that to our advantage?
No, clearly, because one of these, the disadvantage is your federation, the running of the sport in your own country
Should reflect.
has to be right. Because I don't see ITTF or a FIFA, for instance, appointing members of the NFF into the international body when our home is in crisis. If you cannot put your house in order,
How we not put the rest of the world?
exactly. So all these things are also a reflection of what happened. So for you to even have proper representation of there, you need to play the local politics very well before you can even move up to the international level to even have a say.
Of course. Get away from tennis, we head straight to volleyball. The volleyball, National Division One League is actually happening currently in the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja here, and I've seen the likes of Ricky Spikers getting to free getting to break the 10 game unbeaten run of Kwara United at this point in time. It was a 5-set thriller in that particular one. Bauchi Spikers actually won that particular game 3-2. The match that was decided yesterday in Abuja. And also the likes of Oluwari Strikers of Oyo and Caliphate. Actually, Caliphate defeated the Oyo, guys 3-1. And also we saw, Castina getting to fall to Yola at 3-1. And also we expected to see some mouth-watering clashes that will be happening today. Kada Kings versus Caliphate Spikers of Sokoto. Castina versus Oluwari Spikers of Oyo. And also Para United versus Spartan FC. DC of Agula, and that will actually come up later today. Also, we turn straight back to football. We already managed to start talking about Karim Benzema has been sentenced to a year, has went to prison for over 6 blackmail. We know that this case has been seen for about 30 for free. At this point in time, he has been sentenced to 1 year in prison, but he's not going to go to prison by the end of when they call Karim Benzema for the arrest for that he has been sentenced to prison, and he expected to pay about $84,000 dollars as fine for that particular case.
This case has been on for quite a number of years. I mean, it was one of the reasons why he was even completely frozen out of the French national team. So and finally, judgment has come. Has been sentenced, a suspended sentence, like you said. Whether suspended or not, it's clearly expunged now. Of course, the heavy fine which he also pay.
It's a chicken change.
Yeah, it is. No doubt about that.
About 63, 75.
No doubt about that. But how about his reputation? A player of his caliber should not be attempting to blackmail your own fellow player. I think he has a bit of soil. Wrongly on his reputation because it cost him being the World Cup winner. Of course, that would like it because he was not part of that team, and it was because of the ban. So whether I like it or not, I mean, when you look at the negative effect he has even had on him, it costs more than exactly more than this kind of thing. So, but I think it's just something that other players can also learn from and moving forward.
Of course, other players can actually learn that moving forward. Let's straight to what really went down yesterday in the Champions League. We saw a match watching between Manchester City versus Paris Saint-Germain, talking about PSG, and it was the Citizen that had the last laugh in that particular one. It ended 2-1 in favor of Pep Guardiola's side, despite the fact that Mbappe actually drew the first blood for Paris Saint-Germain. Also, the other result we saw, Besiktas fell at home to Ajax 2-1. Inter Milan were 2-0 winner over Sheffield Donetsk. Club Brugge were hammered at home against a certain Leipzig who are fine with all cylinders. Atletico Madrid actually lost at home to AC Milan. Liverpool, the 2-0 winners over Porto. Liverpool have been cruising in the Champions League at this point in time. The Sporting actually demolished Borussia Dortmund 3-1. It is for me, it's like it's not a downside for Borussia Dortmund. Not making it into the next round.
They haven't really done well
Of course.
at all.
Why Sheriff actually lost at home to Real Madrid 3-0. They actually won the first leg at the stadium about, but at this point in time, the Real Madrid actually take that pound of flesh yesterday. Alpha quickly, which particular result was the shocking result. But for me, my pick of yesterday was that match Manchester City versus Paris Saint-Germain. From the starting of the game to the end of the game, it was an action-packed
action. Yeah, that was a very interesting game. If I say shocking, was any result shocking? Well, I didn't expect the Club Brugge to lose 5-0, but of course, Leipzig are not the same pedestal. The golf class is clearly there, of course. So no surprise. Okay, I could say for Dortmund losing 3-1 to Sporting Lisbon was a bit of some shocker for me because I didn't expect Dortmund to lose heavy. I mean, in this competition, they lost 5-0 initially to Borussia Dortmund. Now losing. So they haven't really done well in this competition. I think they'll just drop down to the Europa League.
Looking at the round of 16, the team that has actually qualified at this point in time, we have 11 teams have actually confirmed that qualification at this point in time. We have Ajax, FC Bayern Munich, Chelsea, we have Inter Milan, Juventus, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, and Sporting Lisbon have all confirmed that place in at the next round. Just remaining about 4 spots, 5 spots to actually go in that particular one.
And it's interesting to know that all the English representatives are going to the round of 16.
Of course, just have 3 of them, and 4 of them have actually made it to the round of 16. Does it actually speak good that at this point in time the English league is the best thing in the world?
We can't really say that. These things happen every season. Some seasons.
Chelsea has been five times to me that Liverpool,
about that.
Manchester City,
the balance of
just
power.
Manchester United have been the one.
The balance of power shifts every season. Like some seasons you see the round of 16, you see only like 4 Spanish teams, 2 Italian teams, maybe 1 or 2. So it's always been like that. So at this point, you can't really say it's because this league is the best.
For what I've seen so far, is this Champions League 4? We need actually stay back in the English team.
Right now, looking the way it is, I can't really say because we still have, of course, the Bayern Munich who are still up there in the mix. The Madrid is still there. We all know when it comes to the Champions League what they're able to bring to the table. Of course, Inter Milan making a return also. And of course, PSG are still there in the mix. They made the round of 16. So right now, we're still pretty much very open.
Of course, it's still very, very much open. Let's go to the fixtures that we have for today in the Europa League. So sad on Victor Sebe. I will not be playing for Napoli because he's out for 3 good months, and it's just so sad that we're not going to be seeing him action. But let's straight to the one coming up today. Lokomotiv Moscow versus Lazio Galatasaray against Marseille. That is going to be another match watching feature. Leverkusen against Celtic are going to be seeing Dynamo Zagreb against Ghent, where Paul Nacho play. Also, West Ham will play Rapid winning, and Midland against Braga, and that is some matches that will be happening no later today. But Kelechi Iheanacho also remain action today for Leicester City, and he with his teammate talking about Wilfred Indy. Let's hope that they get to deliver the goals and ensure them also get to qualify to the knockout stage of the Europa League. But at this point, do you see Leicester getting to playing Liga? Do you see them getting to qualify to the next one?
They should be able to beat Nigeria. Should make it to the next round. But looking at all the matchups,
And the Fiacos versus Fenerbahce also mouth-watering.
yeah, that's also a mouth-watering one. Okay, Monaco also Real Sociedad. That should be an interesting one also. So, but I mean, I'm looking out for the lesser match, of course. Since we have two Nigerians playing there, so it will be a match to watch.
Of course, it will be much to watch. This is what we draw the curtain for Sport Orbit for today. That has been nice, talking sports with Alpha. Of course, thank you, our viewers, for staying with us. We make a return tomorrow. So that will be the end of the week package for Sport Orbit right here on Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Olawale, and I'm saying you have a great day ahead of you. Bye bye for now, and God bless you.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.